Hey everyone, this is Emily. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for being here. In today's video, I am going to show you a simple way to create a line and wash painting. I will be painting the cute little house facade that I sketched in the last video. So grab your watercolor paints, brushes, and an ice cold drink because I know you're going to paint with me today. Let's get started. So for today's supplies, I'm going to be using my Schminky watercolor palette along with my number 3, 10, and 6 Princeton brushes, as well as my number 0 Polina Bright brush. You've heard me talk about these brushes so much. I absolutely love the Princeton and Polina Bright brushes. So I'm not really going to tell you the exact colors I'm using, just because any color, any palette, any paint palette is going to work for you. You can make the color of your building any color that you want. I decided to kind of go with like loosely like a burnt, maybe brickish color, but super light. Right now I'm just creating a wash, so it's a super watered down paint. I'm just going to be filling out the building for right now. When going with my wash, I don't worry too much about if I go through some of the plants a little bit, because it is so light. Whenever I go back in with the more concentrated paint, it'll cover right over that, so I don't worry about that part. So now I'm just going in and painting the trim around the door and the windows. It's just kind of like a warm brown color from the palette. Here in a few minutes, I'm actually going to bring in a different palette because I didn't really love the browns that were available in the Schminky palette. So I'm going to be bringing in Paul Rubens. You'll see that here in just a second. When I started painting this, I did not have a plan for the colors I was going to use. I'm using the no plan. So I'm kind of just winging it today as I go. The one thing I did know was I wanted to paint the door kind of a bluish green color. Funny story, I was looking back at a sketchbook where I had painted a door and also a window, and realized that I painted those almost exactly the same color as this door. I was just showing you the bleed proof white that I used to cover up the spot that I didn't like in the drawing, and I was just kind of showing you that it's kind of leaving a little bit of a blemish, but I'm not going to worry about it too much. I could have probably used something else. I didn't really worry about it. I'm going to put a doorknob kind of right there, so it won't really matter too much. Now I've begun painting the plants, and I just use all the greens, like all the greens. At this point I'm using greens from both palettes. I just pick whichever green I feel like. I will add yellows to the greens, I'll add greens together, sometimes I'll put blue in the green. Even adding red is really nice because it kind of mutes it a little bit, so it makes it look like it's a little bit more natural. What we're really looking for is just different shades of green, so it's nice just to have a variety so that it doesn't look so flat. The more contrast you can create will help give you a more of a 3D or three-dimensional look, so it's really good to use lots of different tones and shades of a color. And I'm still totally cracking up about my Monstera being so wonky. But like I said, probably in the drawing videos, I just kind of winged it. I went off with kind of some memory, previous plants and stuff. So that's the beauty of an ink and wash. It can be totally wonky and it's adorable. I'm adding in a little bit of dark green into the wet green that I already had put down. It'll disperse naturally, and it's just going to begin kind of building up some shadows. So as I'm painting in the green of my plants, I'm just like using squiggly lines or filling in kind of what I drew already, or I'll even kind of create new little leaves or stems. And I also like to make sure that all the plants that are next to each other are kind of a little bit different greens. Right now I'm actually painting in some flowers. They're going to be red. In this painting, I make all the flowers different colors. I mean, you could have one color scheme and just, you know, make them all the same if you wanted to, but I decided to wing it, as you know. So they're all going to be a little bit different. And I actually do go back and change a couple of the ones that you're seeing now, like this one. I end up changing and making them white with a yellow center later. And then there's another one that's hanging that I make kind of a purpley color that I end up making it blue instead. The paint that I'm using for the flowers and for the small plants even is a little bit more concentrated. It's not quite a wash. It's a more pigment to water ratio. So I just wanted to let you know that. And now I'm actually using a wash again because this is such a big area and there's going to be lots of layers here, darker greens, and then of course the color of the flowers. This is supposed to be kind of like a loose wisteria, so they're going to be kind of purpley colored, but I'm going back in with a little bit more of a concentrated now while it's still wet, so it disperses evenly and just naturally. And I'm holding the corner of my paper because I did not tape it down this time. I always tape my paper down, and I didn't because I forgot to leave a border whenever I drew it. So I'm just kind of holding it with my finger. Technically, I should have just got it wet on the back and just stuck it to my table, but I completely forgot to do that. So I did not do that. I'm just gonna keep painting in these flowers, and I will be back when I'm finished with that. I decided to paint the curtains with a light wash, the same as the door. It doesn't need to be dark because I'm going to be using Payne's Gray as a kind of to make it look like there's a window pane there. So it'd be like reflecting the sky or something like that. And now I'm going to start coloring in the pots. I'm kind of doing like a terracotta, warm reds, maybe some warm yellow as my pot colors. It's actually really fun to play with the different colors for the pots. It can really be really vibrant, or you can make them look more natural. I'm just kind of going really warm for the most part in this painting, and was just really drawn to these colors this time. So when the pots are still wet with your first color, you can go back in kind of like we did with the bush earlier and drop in a little bit of a darker shade or just more concentrated, so you can start building up some of the shadows. And then when you put paint down, if you ever feel like you put too much down, just rinse your brush off and kind of dab it off, and then you can just spread that paint around if you feel like you're a little too heavy-handed or something like that. I have to do that all the time. It's a lot of push and pull with watercolor.
Getting better day by day. Oh, listen to the words I say. You can take it day by day. Listen to the words I say. I know it's a bad day, catching every teardrop. Try to tame a hurricane. Wish you didn't feel alive, but if you try to embrace.
I love that I added the triple moon to my painting. I'm gonna treat it kind of like a stained glass window, but that's the beauty of art. You know, we can put all these little touches and fun things to express ourselves, and the moon is totally my jam. So now I'm using a pencil just to kind of create some decor, if you will. I wasn't sure if I was gonna like it, so I went in with pencil first, and then I went and traced it with the black fine liner. And now I'm just going in and I'm gonna keep working on that stained glass window.
Don't be scared. New ways will appear in front of you. New wealth too.
And now I'm just painting the ground. It's basically like a yellow ochre. I'm gonna add some stone, like loose stone work a little bit later. I don't actually paint that in this video. I forgot and I went back and did it later, but you do see the finished product with the kind of stone work that I put in it later. But yeah, but that's what I decided to do with the ground.
Getting better day by day. Day by day. Day by day. Day by day.
And now I'm just actually adding some shadows with that same color, just kind of building up a little bit of shadows around those plants and what I kind of created as a rug, if you will.
Yours are the opposite. Let's rewire. I know it's a bad day, catching every teardrop. Try to tame a hurricane.
So I just finished painting my rug and now I'm going in and painting some bricks. I go with two separate colors, I think. Kind of it's like a concentrated color of the actual house color that I picked, and then I go in with kind of like a yellowy color as well. That's just kind of like to add a little bit of accent. So if having the brick lines or any other line super wonky like upsets you and you want it to be a lot straighter or neater, feel free to grab a ruler. You don't have to be super free and loose like I am. I tend to kind of just embrace the wonk. Kind of just doing it loose also just kind of helps with your coordination, learning to draw straighter lines if you don't always use a ruler. I use a ruler lots of times, but for this one, for the line of or the ink and wash drawings, a lot of the times I won't use a ruler, but I do sometimes. So just want to put that little side note out for you. Feel free to use a ruler. There's no wrong or right way to do this. Now I'm just going to begin adding in some shadows. I'm adding in some on the steps there, and then I'm going to just begin adding them in the pots and in the plant with just the color of whatever the pot or plant was to begin with. And then in a little bit, I'll actually be going in with that Payne's Gray that we used on the window to really add some depth and contrast for the shading.
New wealth too. I know it's a bad day, catching every teardrop. Try to tame a hurricane. Wish you didn't feel alive, but if you try to embrace rather than push away, you will find this place getting better day by day. Day by day. Day by day. Day by day.
So here's where I start bringing in a light wash of the Payne's Gray to begin really building that contrast for like a deeper, darker shadow.
It's okay. Yours are the opposite. Let's rewire. I know it's a bad day, catching every teardrop. Try to tame a hurricane. Wish you didn't feel alive, but if you try to embrace rather than push away, you will find this place getting better day by day. Oh, listen to the words I say. You can take it day by day. Listen to the words I say. I know it's a bad day, catching every teardrop. Try to tame a hurricane. Wish you didn't feel alive,
So now I'm bringing in an acrylic gold Posca pen. I decided to just use that for the doorknob. I could have brought in metallic watercolors as well. I just had that and thought it would make it nice and easy. Now I'm bringing in a white Posca pen to add some highlights. I use the white to make it look more like kind of like a stained glass. That's kind of what I was going for. And then I'm also using it for highlights. And I'm using it to make those flowers that I had talked about earlier that were yellow white instead. Since I had painted that pot yellow, I thought it would be better to have white flowers instead. So I used them for that as well.
Wish you didn't feel alive, but if you try to embrace rather than push away, you will find this place getting better day by day. Day by day. Day by day. Day by day. Big feelings coming closer. It's okay. Yours taught the opposite. Let's rewire.
So I've just brought that black liner back in. I traced the doorknob and then I'm just going around the bricks because I hadn't done that since I kind of added those just with the paint first. I didn't have them drawn out first, so I'm just adding some little finishing touches, kind of going around the little red flowers that I had created because I had added more that weren't already drawn in, and then I'm just going in with the white to add a little bit of highlights and then adding in some more shadows where I had forgotten or just wanted to deepen a little bit, and then just tracing over some lines that I had forgotten. I'm so happy that you decided to join me today. I really had fun with this painting. I love the ink and wash style. It's so loose and freeing and I just love it. And then here's the actual final painting because I did go back in and do a few things. If you enjoyed this video, I would love for you to follow me, comment, like, all the things. And I'm so grateful that you are here with me today, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Be kind to yourself and be kind to others. Bye.